ask a question to the room. Let me ask a question to the room.
Yes, please.
Are we in a post-constitutional society?
Oh, wow. Here we go. In what way?
It don't matter if you're a Democrat. It don't matter if you're a Republican. It don't matter if you're an independent. It don't matter if you're black. It don't matter if you're white. It don't matter if you're gay. It don't matter if you're straight. It don't matter what your gender is.
Did Donald Trump really get a private jet from Qatar? In this debate, Charlamagne pushes the corruption angle, while Andrew Schulz flips it into comedy. But underneath the laughs, there's a real question. If world leaders can hand out luxury planes, what does that say about influence and power? Stick around, because the answers aren't as simple as you think.
You're an American.
Yep.
Now, we know that this country has been flawed. We know that, this country has not, worked for everybody the way that it should. But there is a document called the Constitution that we hope everybody abides by, especially our elected officials. When we have a president who is clearly not abiding by it.
Yep. What is he doing?
Well, I mean, we can start with his latest one, the plane.
Is that unconstitutional?
Absolutely.
Really?
It says in the U.S. Constitution, clear and plain, you cannot accept gifts from a foreign government, king, or something else.
So here's my thing about that. I agree with it. I don't think that they should do it. And I think that we should take that ruling and we should apply that to the universities like Harvard that accept tens of millions, maybe to the tune of hundreds of millions from these other countries in the exact same way. I think there should be a restriction from foreign governments.
No, it is a restriction.
Well, why? I don't think that they are the same, but I think that the same concern we have of them potentially bribing a president should be reflected on bribing our elite institutions.
I agree with that.
Because it could affect the things that are taught in those schools. It could affect the placement and the acceptance of certain students. Like, it seems to me that there's a pay-to-play problem with Trump here with the plane, right? It's the idea is, hey, we're going to give you this plane. Why don't you be nice to us?
I agree with that.
But I also want that same rule to apply. And I don't want to be like, what about this? I agree with you. It's a very good criticism, but let's also apply that to these institutions that have been taking tens of millions of dollars for fucking decades and nobody says shit. And then all of a sudden we find out that there's some Chinese spy that's taking things back to China from Harvard. Do you remember he got arrested at the airport? They were like doing research at the facility and then he gets arrested on his way back. I might be butchering this, but what I'm trying to say is like that same thing should be applied across everything.
Yes, but I'll tell you one thing. That is very light compared to a president of the United States of America taking that gift. And listen, I'm not even, forget the bribery. It's unconstitutional.
Yeah.
And it's a national security threat. Chris said something the other day.
I agree. I feel the same way when like.
What if they bug the plane?
What if they bug the fucking plane?
No, I agree. I think.
What if it's a bomb that they can just detonate at any moment?
I don't know if there's that many people who are supporting this. Like I agree.
Oh, no,
I think, or there should be criticism of this, just in the same way that there was criticism of like Hunter Biden's kid being appointed a position on a Ukrainian oil company or like gas company. So like, yes, there should be these limitations because there is fear that you could be either funneling money through it or there could be influence.
As Nikki Haley said, if this was the Biden administration, everybody would be furious.
And they were.
And this is where I think the male speaker nails it. The Constitution is crystal clear. No president should be accepting gifts from foreign governments. It's not about saving money. It's about national security and influence. Imagine if Qatar can hand Trump a jet. What's stopping China, Russia, or Saudi Arabia from buying their way into American policy? That's exactly the kind of corruption the founders wanted to prevent.
She said we'd be furious.
But they were during the Biden administration. So I think it is a good, what is the Trump administration's justification for doing it? Have they said anything?
Stupid not to take it.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
He literally said, he was saying, he said, oh, you want us to pay for it? He said, you want us to spend $500 million? He said, I'd be stupid not to take it. That's literally what he said.
I could be a stupid person and say, oh, no, we don't want a free plane. We give free things out. We'll take one, too. And it helps us out. Because, again, we're talking about we have 40-year-old aircraft. The money we spend, the maintenance we spend on those planes to keep them tippy-top is astronomical. You wouldn't even believe it. So I think it's a great gesture from Qatar. I appreciate it very much. I would never be one to turn down that kind of an offer. I mean, I could be a stupid person and say, no, we don't want a free, very expensive airplane.
What is he doing with the plane?
It's going to be their new Air Force One.
Yeah. And then after that, it's going to be donated to his life.
You know what they should do? They should use the plane to bring those South African white refugees to America.
Hey,
That's what they should use the plane for.
Y'all, we didn't even talk about that. It's been a great week for white Africans. No, but are we in a post-constitutional society?
I mean, it depends. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
The Constitution should not be flexible.
But does it say in the Constitution you're not allowed to accept a $500 million plane? 500 million?
Yes.
500 billion.
Yeah, I mean, you guys aren't even talking about the meme coin, which to me
is even more
outrageous.
So this is okay. So the I think rational take would be like, hey, politicians should not be able to accept bribes from Americans or other countries. The same criticism we have about campaign finance, right? Which is like, you shouldn't allow these corporations to funnel exorbitant amount of money into certain candidates because they're going to have a competitive advantage. The Trump coin thing is very interesting because I don't know if he starts it, but his family starts it, right? And the idea is, but his family's like on the board of payouts. So once it hits certain numbers, they get money. Is that right?
I think that's the setup. But I mean, we were talking earlier, right, about who won the tariff war between Trump and China and why did Trump settle? Well, the company that just bought $300 worth of his meme coin is connected to the Chinese government. They say in their offerings that the Chinese government has a degree of control over the company. He cut a side deal for himself.
Yo, he's getting rich. He's getting rich.
He's exactly who I've always said he is the bottom line.
So here's the question, right?
Yeah.
What you're saying, everything that you're saying is 100% legitimate criticism, right?
Yes, but the U.S. Constitution prohibits government officials from accepting gifts from any king, prince, or foreign state.
I believe. So and then the pushback that you're going to get from anybody that is defensive of it is he's removed the veil. Meaning, this is what all presidents, right and left, have done.
Right. The Clinton Foundation does the same.
So the Clinton Foundation, when Hillary is the Secretary of State or something like that, I forget what it was, they were getting donations to the tune of like $50 million a year. I think
go back to doing it sneakily.
Well, or 250. The second she stops being Secretary of State, they shut down the foundation. So some people go, oh, this was just a vessel to get influence within the administration. And what people say is back in the day, they did it sneakily. And what Trump is doing, he's doing it in your face. Like, for example, Nancy Pelosi trades with insider information for decades. We all criticize it. We say it's wrong. Trump goes, yo, Monday's going to be a crazy day. I'd buy some stocks if I were you. People go, how is he doing this? Is insider trading. There are a lot of people, I imagine, on Trump's side that go, well, finally, he's letting us get in on it. Before, it was just Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Now he's letting everybody get a fair shake. What I think the best criticism is...
This is such an important point. For years, corruption has been hidden in complex deals, lobbying, or donations to universities and foundations. Trump flipped the script. He's doing it out in the open. But just because it's obvious doesn't make it better. If anything, it's worse. Because when a U.S. president is tied to a crypto project with Chinese backing, that's not just financial gain. That's foreign leverage over America's leader.
None of it should happen. You shouldn't accept the plane. Nancy shouldn't get insider trading. What we're doing is unconstitutional.
Trump's is a little different, but yes. And look, you can say...
Why do you think Trump's a little different?
Because she's using inside information that she has that's not available to the public to get these great tips or deals. He's manipulating the entire fucking market. To get what he wants. It's a bigger play. I mean,
I wouldn't say he's manipulating the market. What I would say is in this Trump coin is he's creating a vehicle.
No, I'm not talking just about that. I'm talking about it all. But like, I mean, look, you could say.
I guess I'm sorry to interrupt, but like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, this is a great opportunity for us to reform the way people in positions of political power, right and left, are able to accept like legal bribes. And if we make it a partisan issue, then we'll just have bickering from the left and the right about, but your side does it, but your side does it. When
But
instead
that's
we
why I
should,
don't think that's why I
we
get
should
it.
all just go, yo, both sides
That's
do
the
it.
Agree,
It's
but this
wrong.
is a guy whose biggest
You
campaign
just got a boner
platform.
for Trump, bro. It's like he's doing the same shit they all do, bro.
This
They
is-
all
no,
do
Hold
it.
on a second. Hold on. He ran on draining the swamp.
Yes.
That's his biggest fucking
That is
platform.
true. Not
the second
Drain
time
the
around.
swamp. He's adding acres to the swamp. He's importing alligators. He's doing whatever the fuck. I mean, this is
No,
the biggest swamp
I would
you've ever seen.
I would disagree because I think that I would disagree on what the swamp is.
So what is the swamp?
The swamp is Diddy's chest after a night
I knew you were gonna say something like that.
We just shoot.
We shoot, baby.
I guess I get the idea. I thought the swamp was like permanent government. I thought the swamp were these people that were the quote unquote deep state, like the people that were making decisions without the behest of the American people. But that's
being
what I thought
funded
the
by
swamp was.
corporate entities. And the corporate money
maybe,
that you
yeah.
can't see.
So
unfortunately.
technically, they're the biggest swamp.
He's basically
They're not listening to Congress.
He got rid of the swamp and he goes, "It's just me now." So if you
yeah,
want,
exactly right.
which
That's right.
we should also disagree with.
Yes, they're not listening. They're not listening to Congress.
Yeah.
They're not following the Constitution. They are the swamp.
But I think, unfortunately, people like, and I'm not saying that you're wrong to have these feelings. I think a lot of people have these feelings, but they have such a hard on for Trump that they don't just go, hey, the system itself needs reform. And we should use this as an example, along with examples that past Republicans and Democrats have done to reform it all.
I want that, but I also just simply want an elected official who follows the Constitution.
Right.
By the way, clearly you can do corruption in the guidelines of the Constitution.
Unfortunately,
we've been seeing people do that forever. But this is a person that's just saying fuck the Constitution. I don't want to turn on my Sunday morning news and see a president say he doesn't know if he has to uphold the Constitution.
Yeah, I should.
Even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as
I
president?
don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation.
Sorry, suspend
Come on,
habeas, whatchamacallit.
habeas corpus.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is the thing about, like, and I don't want to seem like I'm defending because habeas corpus it's basically the right to hold somebody without charging them,
Right.
which unfortunately throughout American history we have done. FDR did it with the internment camps during World War II. Lincoln did it during the Civil War. It is like fundamental. Upholding habeas corpus is fundamental to the American identity. We cannot hold you without charging with you. Once we do that, it's a tyrannical dictatorship. So I 100% agree with that. To say that he's doing something that is novel or threatening potentially to do something that's novel or different than past presidents that we look at as heroes, as American icons, I
Well,
would
the
say
internment
is
camps
unfair.
are definitely a stain.
Pardon?
The internment camps, not at the time they were accepted. We look back now and realize that was outrageous. And it was a money grab. All this shit is a fucking money grab.
What, the internment camps are money grab?
Yeah, man. The Japanese controlled the most fertile parts of California. All the places where we grow most of our crops now, those were owned by Japanese farmers.
I thought the most fertile parts of California were Mexican women.
Well,
So yeah, I don't know if it was only a money grab. I think that there was like legitimate concerns about. Legitimate is a tough thing. I don't think they did it the right way, but I think there were concerns about Japanese espionage.
sure.
Just like
and
there's
there was
concerns
Japanese,
about.
but
Yeah.
I mean, but that's all this stuff, right? I mean, look, I don't. Do you guys watch the video of the mother being arrested this weekend in Massachusetts, and her daughters are trying to stop the ICE agents?
Which one? I've seen so many
It's
different
bad.
videos.
Look, I know immigration is a problem. I'm not for a second saying we don't have to address that, but when you see stuff like that,
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. We're emotional.
I'm
people.
like, these. You say, who were the Nazi guards? Who were the fucking slave catchers tracking down slaves?
Yeah, I
And-
wouldn't compare it to that at all.
man, when you're ripping,
It's got to start somewhere.
you're ripping mothers away from
I
their
think you
kids.
I think you do a disservice to what Jews experienced during Nazi
saying that
Germany.
as a Jew.
And I think you do. You're like half. And then I
Oh,
think
half of me says it. Then.
I think that you're doing a disservice to what slaves experienced.
But
during
what
slavery.
Char
have to
says is true.
start
It didn't. Yes, the first day in 1938 or whatever,
Yeah.
it looked like this.
Yeah.
And then not enough people said stuff, and it escalated and escalated and escalated, and then you got where you're going.
I saw a mom who took her
Yeah.
two sons who had been going through the process of getting their papers, and they were going to the regular, I guess, check-ins or whatever that they have to do.
Yeah.
Snatch the two sons up.
Yeah. Listen,
We got to do something, but we have the money to do it a different way, is what I'm saying.
Yes, it is hard.
This is where I fully agree with him. The Constitution isn't just a piece of paper. It's the guardrail of American democracy. The second a president starts asking out loud if he's even bound by it, we're in dangerous territory. Sure, past presidents have stretched the rules in wartime, but Trump is doing it in peacetime for personal power. That's not leadership. That's dismantling the very system he swore to protect.
And there's no question it is heartbreaking. You could make the argument, or they would make the argument, that these people are here illegally. They're breaking the law being here, whereas simply being Jewish in Germany in the late 1930s shouldn't have been illegal. These were German citizens that were being snatched up. And the same thing with slaves. You could make the argument, I guess slavery was illegal at the time. So
it was illegal to leave a plantation if you were a slave.
Yeah, it was illegal, but it was also the slavery itself is this immoral, deplorable institution that, and what is that Martin Luther King quote? Like, I don't even know if it's a Martin Luther King quote, but like,
what is it?
Opposing like you have a moral obligation to fight back against immoral laws, something like that. I'm kind of butchering it. Like,
look it up. You have a moral obligation. What is it? You have a moral obligation.
Bastion. Cedric Bastion.
See? You're reaching. See what I'm saying?
I know. Bashing your front teeth with this. Yeah.
Let me see. Is it? I'm an idiot.
What? What?
I typed in, you have a moral obligation to fight. And then I put MLK Jr. because usually when you do that, it'll pull up the quote and it goes, that statement, you have a moral obligation to fight MLK Jr. directly contradicts both historical context and ethical reasoning. Martin Luther King Jr. stood for nonviolence. Listen, here's the thing. I just want to know, are we in a post-constitutional society? Does the Constitution matter or does it not?
We're on the edge.
I think it's very scary. A week ago, last Sunday, when I'm watching the news and I'm watching Meet the Press and I just see him say he doesn't know if he needs to uphold the Constitution. It's like,
what's the context?
They were talking about the deportation stuff. And he was like, I don't know if I have to uphold the Constitution. And so then she asked him again, is it the president's job to uphold the Constitution? He's like, I don't know.
Listen, he has to realize that saying a statement like that is incredibly dangerous. So he could go, well, I didn't exactly mean it like that. The reality is it doesn't exactly matter how you meant it. You said a statement that people are going to not need to look into the intention or context of. You shouldn't say, I don't need to uphold the Constitution.
And he said it before on the campaign trail. He was like, no, this was the 2020. Terminate the Constitution, overthrow the results of the election.
It's just look, as someone who's followed politics for 40 years very closely, if any president had said anything even hinting at that in the past, it's over.
That's what I'm saying. Who cares?
It's a disqualifying event. You're out.
You know what I have faith in?
Because they did it. Like Lincoln did it. FDR did it. So it's like, whether you say it or not,
well, you would say FDR did it in wartime, right?
So it's okay then?
Well, I don't think it's okay, but that would be the argument. And what Trump is saying right now is within the context of illegal immigration. And I'm sure that's how he would frame it. What I'm saying is...
This plane shit ain't in the context of nothing other than...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is with him, he's always testing just to see what he can get away with. Yeah. Let me try that. Oh, yeah. No pushback? All right, let me go 4 more steps. This is why it's so dangerous. This is why you have to keep bitching and yelling. This is why people have to keep saying stuff.
I will say this, though. Situations like this give me faith in people. And I tell you why. I don't have the faith in the government, but I have faith in people. When I see Ben Shapiro speaking out about this, when I see Candace Owens speaking out about this, when I see the Rogan speaking out.
I even gave that woman props. She spoke out.
Who?
God, I can't stand what's her name? Laura
Loma spoke out about this. Like, that to me is.
And here's the uncomfortable truth. He's right. We can argue legality all day, but when enforcement looks like ripping kids from their parents, you're crossing a moral line. America has to enforce its laws, yes, but how we enforce them defines who we are. If the system relies on cruelty to function, then maybe the system itself needs rethinking. Because the images of families torn apart don't make America safer. They just make America colder.
It's real Americans who care about the Constitution,
as you should,
who care about their president following the Constitution, who also don't want it, who don't want their president taking what they think are perceived bribes.
100%.
And to Chris's point that Chris we was talking about last week, how do we know that this shit can't just fall out the sky whenever they wanted to?
What does that mean?
The plane.
They gave them a plane. They might.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're stupid if you turn down a gift. Tell that to the Trojans. All right,
Yeah.
because
not the Trojans, but
I mean,
yeah.
well, the Trojans got the gift from the Greeks. He's getting the gift from the Greeks.
Oh, I thought the Trojans were in the horse. That's why it's the Trojan horse was gifted.
No, I thought the Trojans controlled Troy, and the Greeks gave the horse.
Oh, wow.
And then they were hiding inside the horse. There's also a chance I completely reversed that, but regardless.
Right.
They're giving him the shit. The best case scenario is it's a bribe for policy.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is the same people who fund organizations like Hamas and other terrorist organizations.
Which is also why Shapiro and Lomas are so.
Well, that's why Shapiro cares about it. He doesn't give a fuck for any other reason
I
besides the fact that Qatar is, it's like.
Back to the original question. Is this good for President Trump? Is it good for his agenda? Is it good for draining the swamp and getting things done? The answer is no, it isn't. It isn't. If you want President Trump to succeed, this kind of skeezy stuff needs to stop.
That's the thing. It's like, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like sometimes you're going to agree with somebody on something, like, which I absolutely agree. You should not be accepting it. You shouldn't set a precedent that we just accept gifts and that you could potentially get influence for that. Now, we need to make sure that we do this with all forms of government, like when these corporations and these pharmaceutical companies do the exact same thing with every single senator and congressman. To a lesser extent, they are also bribing them, right? They're in the pockets. We make this criticism all the time. So like we have an ugly system set up with our elected officials, and we need to clean that up. And I think this is like a glaring example. And when people showcase that they are upset about it, and I'm not just talking about just media figures. When I'm talking about like the people like if Trump feels like his constituents are pissed about this, he will back off because he listens to what they care about. If he goes, my people don't really care, he won't. But if his people are pissed, he will back off. And I think that's an important thing to understand about Trump. It's
the tariffs he kind of held fast, and everybody left, right, center were all saying this is a bad idea. Stop this.
I actually don't think.
No, he didn't hold fast.
No. I don't think left, right, center. So I think that a lot of like rich media figures were saying it because they were basically like looking at their portfolios and seeing that the stocks were dipping. And I think that like the working class Americans that were supporting Trump were like, I don't have money invested in the market. I don't give a fuck if those rich people lose money. What I want is manufacturing to come back over here. And he says manufacturing's going to come back here if we do this tariffs. And I don't think it lasted long enough for the shelves to be empty. If the shelves got empty, then you might see his people being pissed off. But the shelves didn't get empty. Inflation has gone down. And it looks like these other countries are starting to negotiate, and then
that's not what Trump cared for in that moment. What he cared about in that moment, the stock market crashing is what would make him move.
But I actually don't think he was that worried about that.
Oh, I do. I think because those are people he cares about.
I don't think he cares about them that much. I think that's the biggest illusion. I don't think he cares about them. I think
here's the thing. You might be right because he damn sure don't care about the common man either, the working man. You know who Trump cares about?
At the end of the day, Trump didn't drain the swamp. He just made corruption more obvious. From the Qatar jet, to Trump coin, to questioning the Constitution. The real issue is how much we're willing to let slide. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.
The Trumps.
Okay.
That's who he cares about.
I'm not even sure he cares about them, to be honest. He cares about Trump.
I think and in order for him to maintain power, he needs support. And as long as his supporters support him and there's enough of him for him to continue his agenda, he will continue to go down the path that maintains that support. Why
does he still need people to support him?
Well, because you got to win the midterms so you can continue to control Congress, and you want to, in my estimation, if you want to exact this change in America, you want that legacy to continue after you. And there's one version where I'm sure a lot of people look at, oh, he just cares about him, and after 4 years, he's fucking done. I think there's another version where he's like, I do think that America is in disadvantageous trade relationships with other countries where we're being taken advantage of. I do think that there are too many foreign wars that we're supporting. And I think that we can have a better country and better standing in the world if we change those up. And I personally think he is trying to do that, especially with the foreign wars. That's my personal opinion.
I don't know, man.